Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. As you can see by the mess on my desk, I'm doing something completely different than a lot of you've ever seen before. I made jewelry before I ever did the rest of it. And for some reason, in that list of things that Laura put in there that we could use, tourmaline is the only thing that I noticed, which is really bizarre because I love tourmaline too.
It spoke to you.
But yeah. Then, as I've watched all the others prior to me, I was like, oh, I could have used turquoise. I could have used silver wire, all these other things. But I went with copper because I'm using tourmaline chips. I don't know how well you can see that, but this strand was 20 inches and it was $25. And they're tiny and they need tiny holes. And I didn't have sterling silver wire that thin. And when I work with silver, I only wear sterling. So we went with copper. So um, we got lots and lots of things, and I guarantee you, I will not finish because I've tried to pre-prep bits and pieces of some of this and kind of get myself ahead. But there's so
Oh,
many little things. So I'm probably going to have to say, oh, this is how I did this, and oh, this is how I did that, just so that you know. But as you can see by the mess, and it goes clear back here and clear over here, I have everything somewhat artfully arranged, and I'm going to get started. So, again, I told you I chose the tourmaline. The strand I got is watermelon tourmaline. And by the way, happy birthday, dAFi, and thank you all for being here. I greatly appreciate you all showing up, and all these names I see in there is from all these other channels I've seen this morning. And so it's great to have you all hanging around and playing with us today. So, my first thing is I was going to use the tourmaline, and then I've been doing Viking knit lately. In case you don't know what that is, I have that. You work on it. I work on this because it was given to me, but I worked on a dowel until I got this. And you just weave, and then when it's done, you pull it through a draw plate. These are really inexpensive. I was actually just looking, and you can get one for like $5 until it comes out nice and thin like this. And it's a really pretty weave. This pendant that's on here, I couldn't even tell you how old this is, but I'm going to guess it's at least 10 years old
that
because,
is beautiful.
yeah, it's been a long time since I've done extensive jewelry like this. And I just decided it was time. So this is completely made by me. I cut the copper circles, I stamped them, I domed them, I wire wrapped them, the whole 9 yards, and it opens right here, and it's a locket. And Laura, you may have to scream at me if I get off screen because it's really hard to work on some of this without
It
having my
is.
back against me.
It
So
is,
I'll
especially
let you.
with jewelry.
Yeah. So that was my concept when I found this. I thought, oh, there's the centerpiece. I have pre-made some links. It's a little pile here. I have up here with my um, head pins this little pile of bits and pieces. A lot of these I've made. There's a button I made, little bead cap type things. I have over here, I have a bowl of copper beads, which I've pulled quite a few of those out. These are all copper charms. I have some copper chain. I have 2 bags of copper rings divided because they already know where they're going. And I just have a mixture of stuff here. So I told you about this. And then I explained this. So we're gonna get started. Um, I'm gonna take. Wait a minute. Back up. Reverse it. I also wanted to. This was my original intention, but it didn't. I decided it was just too tiny to do on screen. Not that I might not stick this in there, but this is the tourmaline with a few little crystals and copper pieces stuck in
Oh, that's
and
gorgeous.
crocheted. I
Wow.
think with some of this other stuff, it's just too fine. So what I'm going to do, and I've already pre-strung it, I'm doing it on silk. If you've never used, I hammer all this stuff out myself. And if you notice the different colors of copper, some's light, some's dark, I tumble it. And it also softens the edges. And so anyway,
Beautiful.
I have strung this on the silk. The silk comes carded just like this, and it has a needle attached. And on the, I know you can't hardly see that. It's a twisted wire. How it's made is this cord and this wire are all twisted, so there's not the bulk thread going through a needle. This is the only thing that would go through these. So I will add this in, and if you want somewhere down the line in my very fast hour, I will show you how I crochet this. But my thought process is after I went however long I want that segment to be, I'm going to come back down and do another row of crochet down it just to give it a little more bulk. So that's that one. But this is the part that I'm really excited about. Is that just my eyes, or is that not a very good coloring?
Um, well, you know my eyes are terrible anyway, so
Yeah.
um, I mean, I can see the colors.
Okay. So what I've chose to do, and it took a lot. This has been out for over a week on what I wanted to do. So I have these two bags of rings. We're going to work on one side first. What I've done is I've gathered all the wires loops that this makes together.
Lisa Lisa Carroll said the color is dull, and that kind of is a good description. It's not. I know that those. I know that you have more color on that beading mat than how
Yes.
it looks.
I don't know what I can do short of going into Logitech, and I don't think it's going to let me do that
It's
because
not,
yeah,
or mine won't. I can't figure out how it'll let me change any of that when I'm live.
it will if you open it first. But we only have an hour. Let me see if this helps. Is that better?
Oh, that helped. I don't know what you did, but that I see blues now, and I wasn't seeing any blue.
Okay. I turned off the overhead light, so let's hope I can see to do this.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, so I have all this stuff. I've clamped this in because I don't want to put the um, cones on the end yet because I want to make sure I have room to put everything over it. So I've dumped one of my bags. One goes on one side, one goes on the other. No rhyme or reason. These are all either hammered links, washers, just different ring kind of things. This one I made. The other one has some that I made too. So we'll start off. Let's start off with a couple of smaller ones. I'm just going to put those on. And I'm just going to go. I'm not paying attention. Just trying to alternate, which it really doesn't matter alternating because um, the big ones go over the little ones, so it kind of doesn't matter. But
They're all saying that your picture looks lots better now.
okay. Well,
Colleen said the copper looks copper.
yeah, my hands look washed out, but
And I bet the schnozberry tastes like schnozberry too.
oh, I bet. So I'm just putting these all on here, and I'm going to get another clamp, and I'll do the same thing with the other.
By the
And
way, y'all see that chain, that copper chain that she's putting all this on? She wove that chain herself. What do you call it?
Viking knit.
Viking. Yes,
And
it is
feel
gorgeous.
free to ask any questions. Laura will tell me. I'm going to not look at the screen so I can get as much of this done as possible.
Darla said, actually, your hands look better. They looked a bit gray earlier. And Anne Lover said, wow, that chain is beautiful.
It's really fun. It takes, if I sit down and work on it off and on for a few, I can get a piece like this done in a day. I actually cut this one down. When you do that, you waste it, but it's okay. It was too long for what I was going. So I have these on here, and I tell you, doing jewelry with my thumb that won't do anything more than that. I can't come back and do a good old thumbs up. Once in a while, if I use it and use it, it works better. So I have these bigger links that I'm going to use in the chain, and a lot of these came from another piece that I had already done, and I just took components out that I liked. And I love making components. So, you know,
Sharon said, of course, a wire pro followed me. I had no idea.
uh, I, I would have said, okay, maybe, but not, 10 years ago, but it really has been a while. Now, see, I really like this, just
I
like this,
love that.
but I got to have some dangles on it. So that's what a lot of this is. Now, some of these I've already made and closed the loop, so I can't put them on there, but like this one, I haven't closed the loop. So I'm just going to find a loop, a
Colleen is
ring.
asking if you have an Etsy shop.
No, I did, or I never had an Etsy shop, and I have sold. And well, no wonder it's not working. I didn't do the, okay, to make a dangle, you put your beads on, you bend it over, and then you wrap this around. It looks kind of sloppy right now, but I will tone that up, and then you can just wrap it because I'm going to put it on here. I am not going to wrap it because I want to do that. Although sometimes I already wrap them and then I have to figure a new way to do it. And that's okay too because I'm not usually going to cut off what I did. Come on. I'm on screen here. Okay.
Kara says, we work her to death in dAFi. She doesn't even have the time.
So I'm going to do, and I'm just going to wrap it around all my tail, either until it's full or till I'm ready to cut it. I use flush cutters and I get in there as tight as possible. When I'm done with that, I'll take a needle nose pliers and go in and make sure my end is tucked. Now, I will do that to all of them, but from now on, I'm not going to do them just so I can get something somewhat accomplished. I'd love to have the ends on this before I have to leave. And I'm going to scoot this down because I don't like them sliding all over. So I have this pearl because the tourmaline that I'm using is the watermelon and it has both um, the pink and the green. I dug around to find some green pearls. And just so y'all know, I'm not kidding whatsoever. I went through 40 trays of beads to find what I wanted for this project. Yep, I really, 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 really did. So I'm going to put it on here. This piece will at some point be in a dAFi auction. I promise. Before the end of the year.
Wow. Before the end of the year.
So as you can see, there's some of them on there. Not a big fan of this one up as close as it is. So let's see if we can, get it down the hair a little bit. Not that again that matters. It's gonna rock and roll wherever it wants to go.
I
And
love that all of your jewelry has so much movement in it.
oh yeah, I love to be different. I like the unusual and um,
Yeah,
yeah.
Jean has, whether it doesn't matter what she's doing, when you see, after you've been around Jean, and it doesn't take long, after you've seen some of her work, when you see it again, you know it's hers. She has a very distinctive style. And it doesn't all look the same, oddly.
So I'm not like Nickelback where all my songs sound alike.
Jean likes the band Nickelback, and her husband made a an ugly remark about their music, and she has not let it go.
You need to open that up more.
Right, Nancy. Nancy said, "Nice way to tell us to save our money." Laugh out loud. Jar for Jean. Yeah, a lot of you are new, and a lot of you are. I would say it's about half and half that are old pros at our fundraising events every month. Um, we invite you to come to. We call them fundraising events because our auctions are as much an event, like social community. Um, they're just a lot of fun.
This little
Yesterday we had a ball looking at wedding jewelry from India. Care had phenomenal prices. I mean, where else are you going to find gorgeous blinging brooches from India? Two for $1. I mean, y'all, come on now.
that head pin and I just didn't get along, so we're gonna come back to that one later.
Another thing is we are the only people on YouTube that does live sales with $5 flat shipping that I know of. I'm not saying nobody else does it, but we're the only ones I know.
Okay, so that's all my pre-started ones. These are all already done, so they may go in somewhere else. Um, I have this one here. I love this little head pin. And just so you know that I actually ball up the copper wire on the end and then coat it in enamel and then make it like that.
Oh, wow. I thought
So
that was beads.
no, here's one.
Look at there.
So let's find a bead to hang off.
See, Jean is a true artist because she invents techniques.
Oh, I don't know about invents them, but
Well, I've
it,
never seen that. I've never seen anybody
it
do that.
yeah, comes from my days of making glass beads.
Janet, no, our sale we send to Canada. We've sent all over. We do have a sweepstakes. Now that is only for the U.S., but we do ship. Where are you, Janet? Janet Burgess is asking if our auctions are only for the U.S.
Our shipping policy is $5, but if
Canada.
you're
Oh
out of the
yeah.
US, you spend $35, we pay half the shipping.
Yes, we will split the cost by 50%, Janet, if you purchase over $35.
Okay, we're gonna try this little booger here that's just been. This is why I pre-did them all because
Yep,
uh,
I have the
finding that
same
tiny
problem.
hole. So,
It is PayPal, yes.
now I think. that I'm probably going to just put a few on here for today. I may leave it that way. I may like it that way. I'm not sure. But for today, that's what I'm going to do because I want to show you as much as I can. If you've ever seen some of our show, oh, you know what? I just cut that puppy, but we're leaving it for
Oh,
now.
you didn't
So
cut the chain, did you?
no, no, I cut the I cut it wrong. It's just not right. Those skinny head pins and I don't get along, so we need something else over here. Let's look at our bead
Well, it's hard to
choice.
do when you're hurrying too.
Yeah, and I did turn my light off, so let's take one of those colors. Let's put this on top. I never have a plan. In fact, if I have a plan, I'm probably going to take longer. So,
I'm kind of the same way.
okay. So that's 3 on each side. And when you're making a dangle and you got that much wire, this is pure copper. Majority of everything in here is pure copper. There will be some that get in there without me knowing it. You can always do something like this. Get right on the end and make a tiny spiral. After you've got it where it touches like that, take a pair of flat nose and coil it on up. You didn't waste the wire. And now that dangle has that pretty little spiral. I could push it up or
Beautiful.
I can push it down, whatever. And don't forget to put in the link for the sweepstakes. That's 50-50, folks. I mean, uh,
Cold hard cash.
let me give you a hint. Before I became the executive director, before I became the wish manager, before I even had business cards, I won the very first 50-50. And I won
Did you?
yes, I won $300. Well, it was over 300, but I just remember it was 300 something. And that was my half. So, but I gave it back to dAFi because that was what I wanted to do. And it's totally up to each person. So there is that so far. And I might just stick with that. I might put some more on it. I don't know. Now we're going to put the cones on the end. This was woven with 24 gauge wire, but this part is 20 gauge. I did give it back. Um,
Yeah, she gave it back. Can y'all imagine?
I went with the 20 gauge because this is going to have more wear than the rest of it, and sometimes I switch my wires for that because because of that reason. Now I'm only going to make the loop for now and put the cone on there. Okay, there it is on the other end. And these will still slip on over the cone. I just didn't know if all of them would or wouldn't. So, and I have to pull it pretty snug because it's just about the exact same size. My bend and the wrap around. So I'm not closing those because I don't know what's going to be there. Maybe I'm going to put something like this that's got both ends already done. So that's what we're going to do right here.
Very pretty.
And when it comes to making jewelry, I do prefer working with wire and making links. Now I can get creative too and spiral this down the cone a little bit, but I want to end
Yes,
where I
Maria. Sorry.
can put this tucked in because it's really important not to have wires poking out. You know, I remember in the 70s when I made jewelry and I didn't know what I was doing and, you know, the hippie beads and all that stuff. And I'd come home and have to take a necklace off because I was just darn near bleeding and something rubbing on me. So, so I just frou-froued that up a little bit. The other
Look at
side
that work, y'all.
maybe won't, but we're gonna see. So now I need to find something else, and I don't. I've kept trying to tell Laura this that I don't work in a pattern, and um I don't like everything matchy matchy. I mean, nothing in I own is matchy matchy. So I have this here. I will probably try to stay size wise similar, like I could do this one, but I took the tourmaline and put a few pieces on wire, and I have that right here also already strung in case I need to just wrap it around something. So I have this, and it's on rings. It's on a piece of copper link. I think that's what's going to go right here. Size wise, they're comparable, close enough for people I know. And I'm just going to wrap that. This one won't go as far as the other one is in spiraling, but it's okay. I figure if people don't, um, if I stand just right, they're never going to see both sides of anything. So I don't worry about it.
That is
So,
absolutely
so now I'm just
beautiful.
going to pick links. But I'm going to finish this link. I started it because of how long it's going to take. This is what that bead was right here. And
Wow.
I was playing with my little glass head pins, and I think they look gorgeous in those bead caps. Looks like a little
Yes.
flower. So I put two on here, and I was like, how am I going to get the other side? So I did the other side with just beads. And you can't do two, you got to do odd. So I'm going to go in here and just stick that in there right there. And I'm going to come up here. I'm going to find another one. And because I would have to go outside, find my torch, heat this up, put the ball on it, cut it short. Nah. So I'm just going to use a bead. I'm going to use a little crystal because they're a little stronger than the tourmaline. If I can find the hole. There we go. Now I'm going to tuck that down there as tight as possible. And get my flush cutters. And yes, I have two pair of them here. And I'm going to cut that down to about a quarter of an inch. And then I'm going to take my flat nose because I don't care if this is perfectly round or not. And I'm just going to bend it down to tighten up that bead in that flower. And so there we go. I have three on each side. So that's going to be a link in here. And um, um, I did these links. Now this one has to hook to something that I can open and close. This one, it I even made these jump rings and they're heavy, heavy wire, so I'm really okay with that. I don't like jump rings, but the heavy wire is okay. And you always open your jump rings back and forth, and you wiggle them until they match up. So there's the other link. And let's go
She
ahead
does,
and
Candy.
let's put this one over here. And I want it to lay flat, so I'm going to have to find something where I can hook it to that lays flat. So we're just going to squeeze this link in, work on
It
closing
really is a sight to behold
it
to
through this.
watch Jane make jewelry because I've never seen anyone make jewelry the way that she does. She makes her own jump rings, links, chain, everything.
So now I need to connect these. And I don't really want to do a jump ring. So I'm going to what am I going to do? I'm going to take a piece of wire. I'm winging this, guys. I really don't know what I'm doing yet. And I'm going to go ahead and make my loop, but I'm going to connect it right here. I'm using 20 gauge wire. I really had forgotten how much I really like doing jewelry. So it was quite a pleasure to get this done. So now I have a wire. Now I can figure out what I want to go with it. And I kind of compare them, so that I can see how they look. And I know I want to connect this, so this can't be very long. So let's just put on a little copper bead if we can see it. Just because I always start with a little bead, don't know why. Then I'm going to put on one of these little beads. I couldn't believe it when I pulled them out of the bag. The strand is like this long, but you can tell that they're thin and they kind of interlink with each other. They're called Pringle spacers because they're wavy like Pringles. I thought that was pretty funny. So now I'm going to put on another one of those Pringle spacers, and I have two sizes, so I'm having to make sure. And another little bead. Yes, you can tell now that I have figured out what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now I'm going to make my link right here. And I'm going to connect this. I know, I got y'all in the box thinking, is she going to leave that like that? I'm going to separate my Pringles. I love calling them Pringles. But that strand of beads, $20. I was like, whoa. So what I'm going to do now with this 24 gauge, and it's going to be a bit awkward because I didn't leave a lot of room in there. And I'm just going to wrap this around. I'm not worrying about what it looks like. This is just the anchor wire. And go ahead and snip that off. I've wrapped it enough. If it's going anywhere, it'll be a miracle. I'm going to slide some of this down. And we're just going to wrap it. Wrap the beads right on that wire. So I'm kind of like making a knot of beads or a beaded bead or whatever. I need a little bit more. And the thing with doing this, you can put in a bead where you need it. Oh, I got a piece of wire being loose. And continue to put your beads in. And if you like, say right there it's all green, I could move this to where it's not, and then do some wrapping of just the wire and make the wire part of the element until you get it exactly how you want it in your spaces, because the wire is part of the element. So having a little extra wire here and there is not a big deal. Except it's being belligerent for me today. Go figure.
Well,
I'm, I'm
it looks absolutely stunning.
I'm actually just wrapping it up like, in fact, I'm not going to put any more beads. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off so I don't fight the wire. I tend to work, when I work with wire, on the spool as long as possible, because then I don't have to worry about losing things. So now I've got this kind of here where I want it. It's going to scrunch it up, and I'm just going to wrap wire until it's pretty and how I want it. And I think it's pretty cool. It's just a little cluster. See, you can make clusters in jewelry too.
So pretty.
And going to just find a spot, just like if you were stitching. And I'll go through there and pull it tight
Look at
and go
that.
through another piece of wire and pull it tight. And that should be enough to hold it. I'm going to snip it. And again, I would go in and tuck that down. If you find after you've done that, it's just not um, tight enough, you can go in with your round nose or your flat nose and do this gently because this is 24 gauge wire and give little kinks and that'll tighten up all the wire. So I feel like I'm in a race here.
Well, you're doing good on time. It's only 36 after, so you still have a good 25 minutes or 20 minutes. Excuse
I'm going to
me.
put some of these so you can see this better. So there we go with,
Look
oh,
at
and by the
that.
way, when I make a necklace, I make it long. So, because I just like it that way. Now I'm sure that there's more dangles that needs to come on here because one, I haven't made, and two, I just think there needs to be more dangles. And another thing that I think is fun too is this is a dangle already done. So let's go into one. Let's make another one. And that's not a head pin, that's just wire. That's just wire. This is a where I've melted the ball and then hammered it. Let's see if we can find a bead that'll fit on here. It's a heavier gauge, so I'm not sure. Yep, the green ones do real well. Um, the other pair of pliers I have are my nylon jaw, which for me in working with wire, it's almost a necessity because I get pretty rough.
Y'all, doesn't this piece look like something some ancient queen should be wearing? It does. I always
That's
say
me.
that
I'm
your
an
stuff
ancient
looks like
queen.
museum pieces.
So I put this now. I just kind of get to figure out what I want to put on there next. Um, I don't have a lot of smaller copper beads, and let's put a couple of daisy spacers on here. See, look, I'm using daisies. Woohoo! It's called a daisy.
Look at the baby daisy.
And I don't know if we can get a crystal on here or not. Let's try. Nope. So let's go for a little copper bead. Nope. God, I always have to have a bead on top. It's just, there we go. It's not what I wanted, but it'll work. So I've done this,
You're the Joker, Arlene. I'm the queen.
and I'm going to make this into a link. But you know what? I'm not going to put it down here yet because I'm working the necklace now.
Or the
And
jester.
I think
Sorry.
I'm going to put it right there.
Beautiful.
Heavy wire, so heavy wire going on heavy wire. And now I will just wire wrap that. I wire wrap, if you've noticed, I wire wrap all my links. I don't just make links. I'm, anytime we've done jewelry and anybody seen it, any of the videos, we talk about it, joke about it, whatever, I always call myself the bead snob. And there's a reason.
She is the bead snob.
I want to do it. I want to do it correctly. I don't want to have to redo it. And it comes from years of fixing other people's jewelry.
No.
Yeah. So no, it doesn't. Or were you saying no to somebody in the box? So I
I'm
can go in and put little dangles anywhere. I'll put a little cluster of dangles right here which would have been smart to do before I closed the ring, but hey, it is what it is.
Oh, Kara was saying her jewelry will never flipping fall apart. And I said, no, it doesn't.
I'm
I have
looking for
learned so much from Jean about jewelry making.
this was a ring that could open. So put that one right there. And let's just get, we'll come back to more dangles. I mean, I'm just wanting you to see all the options. Just kind of go into something with your, no rhyme, no reason. So I think I kind of need something bulky, and I love this. This is ceramic. It really doesn't go with it, but it's going to go with it
It
because
does go with it.
I want it to. So it can't hook to
Right.
this because this isn't something I can open and put in there. So I got to have something to connect that. Now I could again go for my heavy duty, not there, heavy duty jump rings that I've made and put that on there. And I probably will. I don't know that I'll leave it that way, but I'm going to do that for now. And this bead right here, this was already done. I made these bead caps too. I have the coolest tool that it's only about this big, and it's you put your metal in there and you bam, bam, and you
You
can.
show off.
Well, I worked in a bead store for 7 years.
I wonder if
So,
she could wire wrap your mouth shut, Arlene.
oh, wouldn't that be fun to try? So I'm going to come up here and it's got to have some beads on it. That's, big chunks of metal. I got to have some beads. So I think it's time for something pink. So we're going to try one of these, which means I need to go to a lighter wire because, well, maybe the 20 will fit in there. I don't know.
Hey, Gail.
Yes.
It's all about community love, y'all.
So I'm just going to keep working until I'm happy with whatever I've decided to put on this and make the link out of. This is links are probably one of the few things that I will make, symmetrical or sort of symmetrical because it's hard to make them unsymmetrical.
Yeah.
So I like that. I think that's what's going to connect this. So I'm going
Beautiful.
to make my right angle and then we're going to take this. I'm having to hold this awkwardly so those don't slide off. And I'm going to fold it over. And I don't know if you know what a cotter pin is, but that's what I always think that reminds me of. And it had to be a pretty good circle, pretty good loop for where it's going. I'm gonna put it in there and then hold this. And actually, it's not really big enough. It needs to be
Are
as
y'all
big.
watching how she does this? Because
So,
this is really how you make jewelry that will last.
Yeah, my stuff didn't stay on.
so Jean, I popped in and hijacked your space here. And
Well, I
for
wouldn't expect anything less.
those of you who don't know, I'm Cara Hart. So
Hey,
Jean,
Ray.
I have a question for you. You know how you had that Facebook group and the Make Your Jewelry Last classes?
Uh huh.
Did you know that we closed that Facebook group, but we still sell that class?
Um,
Oh.
I have them all on my computer.
Oh, you have them all
They
saved.
need to be tweaked.
I think we closed all those groups because we had, good Lord, we had so many.
But I'm just noodling on the idea of maybe finding a way to release that class when if folks wanted to do that, or if you wanted to do another one. What would you
Um,
rather do?
that one was alive with me answering a lot of questions and stuff like
Mhm.
that, and it may need to be tweaked. I'm
Do you want
bringing
to?
my copper down on this one just because I like the extra copper on it. Um, Let me think about it, but I could voice over the one we have, or I could make a new one.
Whatever's the least amount of effort.
Honestly, they're probably both about the same, I would think. One I have to let people, I mean, one I just do, one I just talk. So I don't know.
Okay.
On
That's
this one right here, this was a loop link already, and I added the wire in to put the bead in the middle. Actually, it was really, really perfectly round, but to put the bead in there, I had to kind of squeeze it a little bit so it would fit better. So right now, I'm going to guess we're probably about, believe it or not, that's only 20 inches. It needs to be at least 26. It's not a short necklace with this much bulk at the bottom. It needs to, and it's not done yet, so it needs to have more. So you can all kind of see again what all I have out here. Is there anything somebody wants to see me do again, or suggest I add to this? Something, you know,
What kind of clasp or closure would you put on that? Hey Ray.
probably I will make it long enough to slip over someone's head. But if
Oh,
I
so
were
you still.
this would be an amazing clasp
Oh, that's
because
beautiful.
it's open at both ends, but you can push it enough that it's going to stay. So if you need to open it, you can, but it's going to blend in. This is going to be one of those necklaces that doesn't move around where your clasp goes to the back of your neck or what or front, move around. So,
Hmm.
yeah. So
Yeah,
let's
I think that would stay shut. That would stay put.
yeah, yeah, I think so. So, I have this bead I really want to use, and I have this bead. It's already in a link. So I'm gonna, and I want to use one of these. I had some favorites picked out here, and I haven't even put a charm on anything yet. And I have some butterflies, and I have a lot of little squares that I've cut, and I have these are so cute. Wait till you see these. This is really, 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 really fun. Little dominoes. I hand did these too,
Oh my gosh.
and the way this
How
is
the
done,
heck did you do that?
this is an embossing folder.
Oh
You
my God.
I'm not sure on the gauge of the copper, but it's pretty stiff. But what you do is you take your copper and you heat it with a torch until it glows red. And what you've done is you have um, tempered it to where it's soft. You put it in your folder and run it through. And then you have that. And then I cut them apart. This was the domino one, and I cut them all apart and I filed all my edges
With like
and
a metal file?
right. And then I turned each one into their own little domino charm. Thank you, Kim. Thank you. And see, this is I have these really cool punches that just indent, and that's
Look
what
at
this is. Just
that.
a piece of copper that I've indented. And
See what I meant about how her stuff looks like museum pieces from like some ancient royalty or something?
this one needs another hole. I don't know how I did that, but you can see where that space is, where it needs one more dent. This is the tool. And I'll
Wait,
just,
what?
okay, it's easier to see here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I have the holes, the dents that go all the way, but there's a space there. So I'm going to put this one. I actually, this is not the same size, but I can do with pressure and get it. So I just put another hole there.
I didn't even know such a tool existed.
Yeah. I have three different sizes. I love tools. I
Of
love, love,
course
love,
you
love
do.
tools. And I always say that girls should have pretty tools. All my tools have a Swarovski rhinestones glued to them, and
I
have
only came back in. I only came back in to interrupt to say that you guys have no idea how much she loves her tools. If she finds out that there's a tool she doesn't have, she goes, "Oh, I think I might need that."
yes, that's why I have an $850 loom or spinning wheel sitting in my room.
Oh
I
my
like
God.
these too. That's all I'm gonna do is just keep picking pieces. I mean, I can make more of these, but I wasn't gonna do this on screen because most of these have been hammered. And then after they're hammered, I tumble them, and that work hardens them. Even if you're using a 20 gauge wire, it will still stiffen them up. And when I say tumble, it's just a rock tumbler, but I use stainless steel shot instead of
Hmm.
all the different grounds that you use when you're tumbling rocks. And that's actually how I polish all my sterling silver.
Wow.
So, you know, it's really, I mean, and my tumbler wasn't even. I don't think I paid $50 for it, but I've had it for a long time. So, but I
It's
decided
the real deal, y'all.
yeah, I just decided I wanted to use things I already had that I've already made the components on, and I know this is going to need some more. And I actually looked at some of the um, what are those beads that we sold in the auction? Big holes, Pandora style beads to put on here too. I didn't like it. It was ugly.
Just as an aside to the chat, don't try to use your garbage disposal as a rock tumbler. It does not work.
And I read somewhere that people put um like in a a good sealing jar or something, they're still shot and then just do it by hand. I tried that. I have better things to do than set and roll thingy around. I put it in my tumbler. And like I
Hmm.
said, that's the only way I tumble sterling silver too. So I think I really like this. It's just two jump rings, but I
That's
got to figure out
beautiful.
what part of that's going to come off to make it. And I think we're going to just open this up. Because I made all these and I know how they're made, I can easily put them back together to use them for another project if need be. And this is just my first tray of copper beads. I have more. And I really like this too. So let's take it off right here and see. So don't forget that our next stop is Care's channel, and
Sure.
we're gonna have the sweepstakes drawing. And
That is
remember,
in 1 hour.
yes.
Let me post the link to. Oh no, that's the bid form. Sorry, y'all. Let's see. I'm grabbing that entry. Um, nope.
Hmm.
My eyes are not wanting to cooperate.
Oh, I know. I had to jump out of the last stream a few minutes early to give mine a break because I wanted to be able to see what I was doing.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to draw blood on, while I'm live. And I will share this when I am finished.
And again, y'all, that sweepstakes is for cash put into your PayPal. Whatever dAFi takes in today for the hop, we will split it 50-50 with the winner. And believe me, your odds are good.
Definitely. Since I have a new car to fix, I'd like to put mine in, but yeah, that's not going to happen. I can't win. I did get the final estimate on my car,
Uh-oh. How bad was it?
$11,000.
Oh, wow.
I don't
So
do
are they
anything.
going to total it?
I don't know. Still don't know. So as you can see, it's kind of an audition. After it gets so long and I pick the things that I know I love and want, then it's just auditioning other parts. And I may just decide the heck with it and take a piece of wire and bend it around and make my own um, links and stuff because I can and I like to.
Wow. That is beautiful.
I'd like to use more of these that one is not one I've done, but more of these. And you've just got to have the big beads. And I don't want a lot of big beads. I just want, I'm happy with this right here.
So are we.
So I just got to make some more dangles for here and a few more links. And I think it'll be done. I love my little mermaid too. I think she's really cute. But
Pretty.
I'm going to stick with what Kim suggested and use my own stuff. So,
I agree. That was a good suggestion.
yeah. I mean, there's a few pieces in here that aren't mine, but I've tweaked them to be mine. So,
Mm-hmm.
all right, we got 3 minutes to hop in over to Cares. It's going to be an easy trip
Oh.
for me because I just close the screen and go into the next StreamYard because we share
Well,
StreamYard.
I'm going to run for coffee and a pee break.
There you go. There you go. So, thank you, everyone. I really appreciate y'all being here. And I hope you've learned something. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or send me a message. And it's made me remember how much I really do like jewelry. So thank you all for coming and on over. Catch the bus to Cares. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, that necklace, Jane. Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
I'm going to go grab coffee and a pee, and I will see you over in the chat at Care.
All right. Bye.
Bye.